Hello everyone, welcome back to the Undercut podcast. Today's video, we have got a special video dedicated to discussing and breaking down Red Bull Racing and the drama and everything that is going on behind the scenes with Helmut Marko, Christian Horner, Max Verstappen, Jos Verstappen, and even Toto Wolff having a little bit to say on the matter as well. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into this. Everything that's going on, what the hell, man? Drama. How can they be so good on track but be so just crumbling behind the scenes?
Oh, mate, I'm loving it. I am loving all drama, everything. It's been a drama-filled season, and we're only at the end of February, start of March.
It's so funny, isn't it? We were saying before the season even started, this has been one of the craziest seasons, and we haven't even had a single race. We had Hamilton to Ferrari, the whole Andretti business, Red Bull drama, everything has been happening.
Soon to be Verstappen to Mercedes.
Well, where's that come from? But that's in the timeline. So I've got a timeline up of events that have happened at Red Bull over the last couple of days.
Man made a timeline.
I made a timeline for this because there's so much information to break down, and we've got
where's the timeline started?
Well, we're pretty much up to date on everything. Everyone kind of knows the whole gist of everything with Horner and the allegations, and then Red Bull paying the employee off, her then getting suspended. Horner's now back, obviously, at the Grand Prix. But here's what's come out recently. So, Helmut Marko has been rumoured to be under suspension, under investigation for suspension at Red Bull Racing. And this was because... Exactly, and this is because he leaked... Apparently, he was one of those who allegedly, by the way, all this is alleged, leaked to the media the Christian Horner thing. First of all, what do you think about that? Does that make sense to you?
What, that Helmut Marko's leaked it?
Yeah.
Well, it would make sense, obviously. It came out, Austrian news. It's all to do with Austria. Helmut Marko, we know he's Austrian. I think it does make a hell of a lot of sense for it to be Helmut Marko that has leaked it. And the rumours haven't come from nowhere, have they? Let's be honest.
No.
I think... if he has done these, if he has gone to the media and said this, blah 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 blah, Red Bull are well within their rights to suspend him.
Yeah.
He's literally just gone against the team principle, which I always thought Helmut Marko and Christian Horner were proper tight, you know.
Yeah, I thought so as well, but it seems that ever since Dietrich obviously unfortunately passed away at the end of 2022. It's left a massive power vacuum within Red Bull, and everyone is kind of fighting for control of the team. Helmut Marko seems to be one, obviously, on the Austrian side that kind of wants more power. Christian Horner, as we've seen in the last couple of weeks, is more on the side of the Thai shareholders in Red Bull, and obviously Jos Verstappen is mouthing his way through the drama as well.
Bloody Jos. For fuck's sake, man.
Jos he's doing a madness. But
Jos
speaking of Jos, though,
if Jos doesn't sort himself out, he's gonna catch some smoke from me.
He's catching smoke anyway, bro. You've never liked Jos Verstappen. Even before all of this happened, you never liked Jos.
It's his face. His face.
But speaking of Jos, though, obviously then it came out after that if Marko does leave, there is apparently a clause in Max's contract that if Marko leaves, Max is under basically a thing where he can leave whenever he wants. There's a clause saying he's got a release clause. If Marko leaves, Max can dip whenever he wants, which is interesting. So this led to, obviously, the vacant seat at Mercedes, as we know next year, Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Yeah. Does this mean Max Verstappen goes to Mercedes if all of Red Bull is crumbling behind him?
Yeah, well, we did touch on this at the start of our race live stream.
We did, yeah.
We did touch on, obviously, this Red Bull seat, Red Bull drama, Max, is he going, is he staying? It's too hard to tell. Obviously, it is dependent on Helmut Marko. I think Max is very happy at Red Bull, though.
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like Red Bull fans, chill. He's happy there. It's not like he's crying. But if Helmut goes with this clause, obviously Max and Helmut must have like some unreal friendship, partnership. And if Helmut goes, Max doesn't want to be at Red Bull.
It seems that way. It seems very much that way, that Max is closer to Helmut than he is to Christian, than he is to Checo and to his mechanics and the loyalties to everyone. I don't know who's close to Checo. I just thought I'd throw Checo's name in there. He's got to get mentioned somewhere, right?
Checo, the only time Checo deserves to be mentioned is when he's getting released by Red Bull.
Oh, poor Checo. Man's doing well. Man's doing well this season.
Man did well for the first 4 races last season. He won 2, came second twice, and then look what happened. Man imploded.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right? Yeah, but obviously then...
Come back to me in 3 races' time and we'll cross the bridge.
We'll see. We then obviously got Toto Wolff was asked, obviously, that is there a chance Max goes? Max, obviously, you know, he's a hot topic in the paddock. I think anyone bar Ferrari probably would make room for him. All right, let's be honest, because obviously Ferrari have got Charles and Lewis, which arguably is going to go down as one of the best driver pairings in all of F1 history. On paper, right? Bear that man, we haven't seen it yet. On paper, so I think Ferrari are the only team that probably wouldn't make room for him.
Yeah.
At the moment, but every other team would, including Mercedes. Toto Wolff was asked, and he said that they would welcome him. They would.
You'd be stupid not to, especially when you have got that vacant seat and it is up in the air, like who's going to take that seat. Yeah. It is completely up in the air. So, like, it'd be stupid for Toto not to like the thought of having Max Verstappen.
And it's crazy because it's like, it's not just a rumor. Like, Toto's been asked, Max has been asked, and everything it's not been shut down. It's been like, yeah, I mean, if the opportunity came, like...
Well, you're not going to shut it down, are you? Like, if the opportunity is there, you're taking it. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So that was the whole Max side of the story. But now, today, that has just come out, which is, or it might have been last night, but in the last 24 hours, F1 Insider have come out, who have been reporting on this Horner news throughout, have come out and said that apparently Horner is set to be released by Red Bull before the Australian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. Now, of course, this has been rumoured before the Bahrain Grand Prix. This has been rumoured before the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So, you know, obviously take it with a pinch of salt. But there are big pieces of evidence backing it this time. Like, there's things that are coming out that kind of says, like, it looks like it possibly might be happening. And the first one is that apparently big women's rights activists are boycotting Red Bull, the energy brand in the United States, and because of everything that's happened with this female employee. And apparently the Austrian side of Red Bull, so the 49% shareholders, believe that one of the biggest markets for them is obviously the United States. And considering, obviously, right, the United States in any kind of category is one of the biggest markets in the world, one of the biggest economies in the world. So obviously...
For F1 alone, the US is huge.
It's up and coming as well. Like, Red Bull are going to have... With 3, and you not just talking about the energy brand, but thinking about F1 for a second as well, we've got now 3 American races on the calendar.
Yeah.
And that's only going to increase. That's a different topic of conversation, but definitely
Chicago is another topic of conversation, isn't it?
Exactly. So Red Bull is going to be exposed to the US through Formula One alone 3 times this year.
Yeah.
And it's only going to increase. And they believe that, obviously, the energy drink is big over there as well. They think that that's going to decrease it. And here's a sub-point on that. I found also something from Autosport. And apparently, one of 3 of the CEOs of Red Bull, his name's Franz Watzlawick. I butchered his name. But either way, he apparently... Yeah, Watzlawick. He was in a meeting in Dubai last week before Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with Red Bull higher-ups. about Christian Horner and how his presence could affect the sales and stock of the energy drink brand as well. So it all is linking back to how Red Bull is perceived as a brand. And this is one of the reasons why they believe Christian Horner may actually be released. What do you think about
that? That was a hell of a lot of information.
It was a lot of information.
As a whole, isn't it? Like, put the sporting side of things to one side. At the end of the day, all sport, whether it be football, rugby, anything, it comes down to main sponsors, partnerships, money.
Money's the big talking point.
Money's huge in any sport. F1 especially, football especially. So if there's something like this Horner case that has come out against the team, if it's there to damage a reputation, teams are going to take action. Especially at a place like the United States.
Which, as we know, is a big market.
A huge market. With F1 ever growing, we've got Vegas, Miami, and Texas. Come on, man.
Yeah. And we got to say, though, this is all alleged. Like, obviously, may not end up coming to fruition. But the evidence that F1 Insider have provided for this is the fact that all of this is happening in the States. And then they go on to also say, so the Thai owners of Red Bull, this is the second point that they made. So the Thai owners, which have been touted the last few weeks to have backed Christian Horner, have then come out and said that, well, no, they haven't said. They apparently, allegedly, the Thai owners are scared that the female employee will go public with what happened, with the investigation. Will go public with the investigation. And I think this means potentially that I think they're scared that what she says won't line up with what the fans have been led to believe is true during the internal investigation, which obviously would add salt to the wound. So obviously, if they're scared of her coming out and being public, we can't comment too much on this because we're treading on very dangerous waters in terms of the obviously the the victim, and we don't want to cross a bridge that is inappropriate. But speaking on that, if she does go public, then there is a risk for Red Bull that what they have put out, what they have, the Thai side backing Horner through the whole case, if it comes out that what she's saying is true and she's contradicting statements that Red Bull have made, it's not going to look good for Red Bull. It's not going to look good for the Thai owners. It's not going to look for Austrian owners. It's going to be a whole mess.
That's really, really damaging.
Yeah.
If it comes out that, like, she goes public and it completely contradicts everything that Red Bull have come out with, and there's proof, if she has proof herself and releases that publicly, and we all see it, Red Bull have got a huge headache because they have cleared Horner. They have released a statement clearing him.
Clearing him says 1,000 words.
Exactly.
So, and this is the thing. Obviously, like I said, once again, alleged. We're not confirming this is factual information. This is what F1 Insider have come out with, saying that their second point as to why they think Christian Horner will be released is that because the Thai owners are scared of this coming into fruition. I mean, once again, it's dangerous territory, but if it happens, it's going to blow the whole paddock up in the Australian Grand Prix. It's going to be the massive talking point of the weekend, and Red Bull are going to be in tatters. The last point, which I thought was actually quite funny, it was really, really out of whack. Apparently, the band U2, they have some involvement in this. Apparently, they're planning to aid the woman by making a song aimed at Christian Horner. I think it's called something like Don't Be Horny, Be Christian or something like that, apparently, which is really funny. And apparently the woman's brother is the son-in-law of U2 cult guitarist The Edge.
The Edge.
And it sounds wild. It sounds. I heard someone say, who also reported on this information on YouTube, another content creator. I forget the name, but they said I watched their video on it just to make sure that everything was,
TikTok like the actual thing.
Yeah, and they said it's funny because it's that specific of a claim that there's no way on God's green earth that could be faked. It's that specific.
Who the hell would dream that up?
You have to be so creative to think about that. Like, how? I don't know. It's so random, but I think it's wild. Crazy. But yeah, apparently that's happening as well. Like, there's so much going on.
I ain't gonna lie. If that song comes out, it's my number 1 on my Spotify.
Oh, mad. Yeah, no, it's... crazy. I don't know. It's so much coming out, and obviously, the reason we're doing this video today is because we've had more information that towards the Australian Grand Prix that's come out, but that he might be released before then. But obviously, this is always changing. But I mean,
it's forever changing. Every day, there's something new. It's been literally non-stop since the first day it was released about these Christian Horner allegations. It's been non-stop ever changing.
Yeah.
But long story short, I'm going to cut it short. Red Bull essentially are in a sticky situation. They got a choice to make between Helmut and Christian by the sounds of things. If they side with Christian, it's running the risk that if they've not been factually transparent with everyone and this woman comes out with claims, they're going to be in deep shit.
Yeah, and also as well, I've got one more question to pose to you. That if Christian Horner does get released before the Australian Grand Prix, what happens? What happens to Red Bull?
Gunther,
come on!
Big up Gunther. We'd love a Gunther.
Yeah.
What happens to Red Bull? Nothing. They race like normal. Christian just gets fired. And we race like, at the end of the day, the car is still too quick. It's not going to impede in Max's and Red Bull's championship that much.
No.
What we will see, though, if this happens, there's a bit of hope for F1 fans out there. 2026, Red Bull might not be top of the tree.
No, I mean, if he gets fired, we'll definitely see Max still dominate this season. If he doesn't end up leaving at the end of the season,
Max is dominating this year and next year.
Yeah.
Unless he leaves Red Bull this year.
Unless he leaves, in which whoever goes into that Red Bull seat will dominate.
That is a topic for another day.
It is, yeah. But then obviously 2026, it will be a different story. But that's pretty much it for today's for today's mini pod on the Red Bull situation. It's like I said, everything that we discussed today, allegedly, we're not confirming any of this factual information. This is just a discussion centered around the sporting aspect of the implications.
We are not facts.
We're basing this off obviously sources that we have seen and that have been reporting over the last few weeks on this. And if you follow the podcast and watch us on our next live stream, which will be the Australian Grand Prix, if anything has happened, if it hasn't happened, or if there is more information, we will be discussing it then as well. And probably this weekend, on this weekend's podcast too. So
4 a.m.
At 4 a.m. Oh, mate, I can't. No. I can't do it. 4 a.m. is madness. But either way...
I'm tired when we record at normal times at like 1-2 p.m. let alone 4 a.m.
It's gonna have to be an early night the night before. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next.